Yes.
So, we have a very special announcement from Butcher Block Horror Podcast. If you're listening to this in the month of June, we have great and grand news of our awesome purpose. Joe, what exactly are we doing?
During June, the month of Pride, we are collecting donations via ko-fi.com/brainwormspodcast and twitch.tv/count_cannula for Transform Cincy. Kane, why don't you tell them about Transform Cincy?
I would love to. So Transform Cincy is a nonprofit that provides wardrobes head to toe to transgender and gender nonconforming youths.
Free of charge.
Free of charge, changing fucking lives. That is amazing.
So amazing.
And we're super proud of them and super happy to help them in any way we can. We've actually raised a ton of money so far, but we need to raise more. And if you're listening to this right now, you should totally donate so that we can raise more.
We should.
That sounds good. What do you think, Joe?
Why don't we remind them one more time of the places that they can go to donate money to this wonderful charity, Kane?
I know that if they go to twitch.tv/count_cannula, like think Count Dracula, but cannula, that's Kainula. You can go during my streams, and I think technically you can just go to the page and just click on the donate.
I think you can too.
It'll show up when I go to stream again.
Or via ko-fi.com/brainwormspodcast.
That is correct. And all of this is going to culminate to a Brainworms podcast live recording on June 24th at 6 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/count_cannula.
It's true. On with the show, I suppose.
Yes. On with the show. Welcome to Butcher Block Horror Podcast, where we exhume horror movies from the past and cut into what makes them so delectable. I'm Kane.
I am JD.
And I am Joe.
Hi,
and
Joe.
Today we're throwing demons onto the slab and carving up our favorite portions for you, our unwitting victims. You all right?
I'm somewhere between all right and not all right, so just proceed.
Did you get scratched?
Oh, God, we're going to have to put him down.
I'm bleeding.
Fetch the katana.
Let's try to get through this episode before we have to end him, all right?
All right.
If you enjoy the taste of these feasts of fright, then follow us on your favorite podcasting app. You can also visit WeGiveYouBrainworms.com to find other projects we're working on, as well as our Patreon and Discord community link.
And follow us, like, and subscribe on YouTube.
I mean, look, we're going to have to talk about this sooner or later, but YouTube is dead, man. It's all TikTok now. We need to figure out a way to put our podcast on TikTok.
It's 1 minute. You have literally 60 seconds.
I could just do a bunch of stupid dances.
Yeah, we could just make JD dance.
No, hold on. Wait.
What?
No.
What, Kane?
No, I'm telling you, we have to cut every episode down.
Into a 60-second chunk?
No. Cut it down into however many minutes it is. That's how many TikTok videos you have to upload.
I don't think that's a good idea.
That's a horrible idea.
That's not how anything works.
It isn't. I just wanted to be disconnected.
Just be an old man yelling at clouds.
Just be an old man yelling.
Now I want to punch you in the balls.
Yeah?
I think we should just make JD and Chris dance.
Together,
right.
Yeah, we need to organize that somehow.
I mean, if we could get them to dance in front of a green screen, like, we could probably make that happen.
I mean, I'm pretty decent at resolve, so...
Yeah, we could probably figure something out.
Well, you know what? Let's not get too sidetracked. JD, we're talking about demons.
Demons!
We're talking about demons taking over a movie theater.
Yup.
That's what I heard.
And more.
It's the 80s. Do a lot of coke and listen to Motley Crue.
Do coke in a coke can.
And Billy Idol.
Yup.
And fucking Pretty Maids.
Yeah.
Rick Springfield was tossed in there for good measure.
Yeah.
Do any of those artists even know that they use their music? That's what I want to know.
I kind of wonder that too.
I kind of want to tweet at Billy Idol and be like, hey, are you aware that you're...
No, don't do that shit. No.
Yeah, it's fine.
We don't want the jig to be up.
Yeah, just let it be how it is. Yeah,
Let it
fucking
ride.
Motley Crue is in that movie.
Yeah.
All right. Motley Crue was like the biggest band in the world in like '86.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this movie was the most 80s thing to ever 80s.
Yeah,
Until we watched Black Roses.
true. So yeah, this
That
film
or
was
Hobby Opposites.
released.
That was a giant mess of words. We all tried to talk at the same time, and none of it
Yeah.
made sense.
That's all right.
I was saying Black Roses. Joe, you said what movie?
Hobgoblins?
Okay, and then JD.
And I said Demons was released October 4th,
Yeah, JD's actually doing his
1985 in Italy. And then it was released again in May 30th of 1986 in the in America.
America.
Fuck yeah.
I mean,
This film has a runtime of 88 minutes with a budget of $1.8 million. And I have no idea what it grossed at the box office because that information is next to impossible to obtain.
Probably like $20.
Yeah.
I doubt it. Dude, all of that money, none of that went into the actors.
I mean, a lot of it went into cocaine.
Well, you don't
I think.
typically put money inside of actors. You pay them.
Oh, you were doing a thing.
Yeah, it was a gory joke about,
Yeah.
slicing some human
I
being
knew.
open
I
and
knew.
stuffing
I knew.
money
Yeah.
inside their corpse.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on anymore.
How about the synopsis overview? Are you interested in that?
I'm not really.
I mean, I was, and then you did that whole thing, and now, I just want to pack it up.
Yeah. Well, why don't you go ahead and turn your microphone the opposite way, and I'll go ahead and give the synopsis overview.
What?
You ready for something like
What
that?
was this movie about, JD?
Yeah, tell us about the movie.
Dissect it for us.
A group of people gather at a movie screening.
Whoa.
A quite mysterious movie, indeed. Not long into the feature presentation before certain guests begin to transform into zombie-like demon creatures who turn on the living. The remaining guests panic as they find themselves trapped, condemned to the fate worse than death at the hands of the living demon dead.
Holy shit on my biscuits.
Yeah, does that make you want to watch the film?
It does, actually. I want to watch it again, just because of that.
Let's do it. I'm game.
All right, let's go.
Roll it.
No, that's a good synopsis, though. Joe, can you make a mark on that list that we were putting together?
Yeah, I'll get right on that.
We're going to add demons to the list once more since that synopsis was rad.
That was a good synopsis, JD.
You should feel very proud.
Yeah, we're proud of you.
All right. Thanks for patting me on the cock. Are you guys interested in who directed Demons?
Someone directed Demons?
Supposedly, legend has it.
Well, then, yeah, I need to know.
So, the film Demons, 1985, was directed by Lamberto Bava and produced by the legendary Dario Argento. So, the director, Lamberto Bava, was born April 3rd, 1944 in Rome, Italy. And he is actually the son of famed Italian director Mario Bava, whose career spans 6 decades. Mario's work includes Black Sunday of 1960 and Black Sabbath of 1963.
Black Sabbath is dope.
You bet your sweet ass it's dope.
Joe, no, it's a Boris Karloff anthology movie. All right?
Oh,
Fucking
not the band?
stay in your lane, buddy.
We're still inspired by the name Black Sabbath to rock.
Well, I mean, that's where they got the name for the band.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Fucking sweet. Anyway, Lamberto Bava worked alongside his father as his right-hand man and personal assistant for 14 years, beginning with the film Planet of the Vampires in 1965.
Is that as sexy as I think it sounds?
It sounds pretty sexy.
I mean-
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it about a 6.5.
Okay. We're giving ratings. Joe, what would you rate the name Planet of the Vampires in sexiness?
Probably about a 6.
6? Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's spandex involved.
I'm going to go buck wild. I'm going to go with a 8.25.
Okay.
Just to get some perspective on your rating system, how sexy would you rate the Butcher Block Horror Podcast?
Oh, we're at
11.
10. I mean 11.
Yep.
So yeah, on a side note, Mario Bava was on occasion credited as John M. Old, And so it was only fitting that Lamberto Bava was credited on occasion for some of his work as John M. Old Jr.
Surprised he wasn't credited as John M. Young.
That's what I was hoping. I was hoping that that's where this story was going to go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually clever. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Old Junior, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not as good. It's not as good.
It's not as good.
Old June.
What?
So yeah, in 1980, Lamberto directed a feature film of his own titled Macabre. And after seeing Lamberto's first film, his father Mario was so overjoyed by his son's work, the proud father was quoted as saying, "Now I can die in peace." And guess what?
Did he actually die?
Mario actually died April 28th of 1980, so roughly 8 days later.
So you could argue that movie killed his dad.
Oof. I mean...
Oof. Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
it's accurate, but...
Macabre was released April 17th, and then Mario died April 25th. So
Holy shit!
That's rough. Yeah, 8 days later. After Macabre, Lamberto didn't jump back into film, making it as one might expect. Maybe it was a loss of his close friend and confidant, his father, because they were tight. They had like a system, a family thing going on, and he worked as his personal assistant, as I had mentioned, for 14 years. So they were in sync. And but anyway, Lamberto worked in advertising for a time, and during that time he did some writing. So it was on the back burner, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until being approached by the legendary director Dario Argento that Lamberto would resume his work in film, horror in particular. Argento asked for his assistance on the giallo film Tenebrae of 1982, and Bava was accredited as the assistant director on that film. Bava began directing giallo-style films once again on his own in 1983, starting with A Blade in the Dark,
Oh, yeah.
which was a short film. Bava then dabbled in other genres for a short time, but returned to giallo and horror swiftly by teaming with Dario Argento once again for Demons in 1985, the film we're discussing tonight.
Yeah.
Bava did direct Monster Shark in 1984, which was kind of horror-ish.
Monster Shark has come up on the show before, I think.
Yeah, it certainly has. I think at some point we'll probably investigate that, but it's not
Never.
as horror as we would cover typically.
Sure.
We are fairly into the horror.
I don't really like horror movies.
Well, we need you to balance Kane and I out because we're like up shit creek psychotica over horror films. So
Yeah, I don't care for him.
Don't let him do this to you, JD.
he's just here for the ride. That's fine.
No, he's just full of shit.
I know. I'm just trying to humor him because
No,
he's
don't
special.
humor him, because then he thinks it's okay to keep doing that again.
That's fine.
We stop it right now.
I feel very belittled by the way you're talking about me right now.
Who, Kane or me?
Kane specifically, but you're
Kane
part of it.
specifically. I am part of it. I'm an accomplice to your
Yeah.
belittlement.
Yeah.
What bastards we are. Fuck us both. All right, so anyway, Demons 2 in 1986. Also, Midnight Killer the same year. A giallo film titled Delirium in 1987. Rabid Dogs in 1998. So there's a little jump there. A film titled The Torturer in 2005. And then Ghost Son in 2007.
Is it the sequel to Ghost Dad?
God, I hope so.
You're a penis. That was funny. He did a fair amount of television work along his career. Lots of stuff in the fantasy genre. So I know Kane knows a lot about fantasies, including a made-for-TV film in Italy titled Graveyard Disturbance in 1987. It's like one of those things where, like, if you can stay the night in this mausoleum, I will give you a prize, as everybody gets killed one at a time.
I want someone to offer me that contest. Why does that never get offered to me?
And I feel like it's win-win because either you survive the night and you get a chunk of money from Vincent Price, or you get killed by ghosts.
Right. There's no losing. Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
lose. There's just win-win.
Yeah.
That's true. But I suppose as the discovery of the existence of ghosts actually is a result of your...
That's not how that works.
No? How would it work?
No. When you get murdered doing one of those things, it always gets pinned on a living person.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose...
Society's not going to suddenly just decide that it's going to believe in ghosts, all right?
No, that wasn't where I was going with that at all, but I was going to say, your personal reward, finding out that they're ghosts, if it also results in your demise, then how rewarding is that? Like, you don't get to live knowing that there are ghosts. So it's not really a prize.
Ooh, you know what? Actually, yeah, it's not a win. Because what if then I'm a ghost?
It's true. I mean, it could be kind of rad to be a ghost.
You learn that ghosts are possible, and then you become one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually not down with it. See, I've always kind of hoped for the sweet nectar of oblivion.
Right, yeah.
And if ghosts murder me, Joe, that means there's a possibility. You know what? We're getting way off track.
Yeah, we're in the
Who
weeds
produced
again.
this movie, JD?
Well, why don't I finish talking about Lamberto Bava first?
Yeah, Kane.
I mean, what else is there to say about him?
There's a bit more, and I'll get there when I get there.
I just want to talk about Dario Argento again.
I know, I understand that, but because we've already spoke of Dario Argento so thoroughly, I'm gonna unveil some new points about him after I'm done talking about Lamberto Bava.
Okay.
He did another made-for-TV film called Until Death in 1988. Lots of TV horror in Italy.
It does seem like there's a lot of that, yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, there's a decent amount of American TV horror.
That's true, but I don't know. I'm looking at this list of films made for TV in Italy, and it's a nice list.
I mean, half of the Stephen King movies that people talk about so much were just fucking miniseries.
That's true. So, Bava directed Dinner with a Vampire in 1989, The Prince of Terror in 1999, School of Fear also in 1999, The Man Who Didn't Want to Die in 2007, and then Visions of Murder in 2012.
I've never heard of any of those movies.
Yeah. So I didn't spot much for Bava beyond 2012, but he is alive and apparently well enough. And as I understand, Lamberto Bava apparently did a remake of his father's film Black Sunday, and that was released in 1990, but I couldn't find much about it other than there was like a 30-year anniversary, and it was premiered exclusively at Rome's Fanta Festival. So I would be curious to see the remake of Black Sunday,
Sure.
if such remakes exist. So yeah, okay, Kane, make sure you're sitting down, and the producer of Demons is the legendary Dario Argento.
I thought it was George Lucas.
Not quite. Born September 7th, 1940, also in Rome, Italy, Dario is 80 and still kicking. And he might be punching too, but he's kicking. He's living the quiet life these days. I feel like we've covered him pretty heavily, as I'd mentioned, so I looked for some new details to add about him. In 2019, Dario announced that he would be working for a streaming service to create 8 episodes of a female-led serial movie.
Are we talking like Lucky Charms or Cookie Crisp?
It's spelt like, serial as in serial killer.
Wait, is this like the Green Jello song?
Oh, like, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin.
No, not
No.
that one.
Oh.
Not that one.
Date ourselves as hard as we fucking can.
Just saying.
Somebody's got to date us. We're some...
Snap! Crackle! Pop!
Green Jello does rule.
Hell yeah, they rule.
Toucan, son of Sam! Toucan, son of Sam! Oh, we're gonna get tagged.
So did the fucking score of Demons, man. It was like 80s cock rock extraordinaire, dude. It was
just
all about rock.
Yeah, and like synth drums and
We're going to get there. Ooh, we're going to dive into that when it's time.
yes, owner of a Lonely Heart style orchestra hits.
Oh, you bet. So, sadly, not much detail on all of that. I'm sure the pandemic didn't help. In March of 2019, he was announced as the artistic director on Claude Studios' crowd-funded video game titled Dreadful Bond. Are you familiar with a game called Dreadful Bond?
No.
No.
Okay. So, yeah, apparently Argento was announced to be the artistic director for that. That's as much information as I have. Another cool thing, Argento is actually involved in a horror memorabilia store in Rome named after his film Profondo Rosso, aka Deep Red.
Nice.
I want to go to that memorabilia store, especially if it's completely horror themed. I think that would be A bowl of fun.
Okay.
Right?
I mean, it'd be awesome. I don't know what a bowl of fun looks like, though.
It probably looks like a weird cereal since we're talking about cereal, but whatever. Does Joe want to talk about the writers of the film?
I don't want to talk about any of this.
Okay.
It's too bad. You better fucking do it, buddy.
Yeah, I guess. This movie was based on an original story by Giordano Sarcetti, who we have spoken about before, so I'm not going to get too deep into their things.
Right.
He's an Italian filmmaker and screenwriter, born in Rome, Italy in 1944. Became interested in films early in life because of American horror films coming over to Italy around the 50s and 60s. He's a freak. Yeah.
You want to try that again with better words?
No.
What about a better use of words? How about a better use of words?
I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
He's a frequent collaborator with Dario Argento, as discussed. And apparently he's still getting work to this day, writing scripts for Italian television, and he's also he teaches screenwriting and does a lot of stuff in the educational field.
Nice.
Excellent.
And that's all I'm going to say about that. If you want to learn more about Giordano Sarcetti, go back a season.
Giordano Sarcetti.
Listen to our other Dario Argento episodes.
Yeah.
And eat a prosciutto sandwich while you do it.
Why?
I don't know. It sounded Italian to me.
Okay.
I'm going to talk more about writers, if that's cool.
Yeah, do it.
Unless somebody else wants to say something dumb and interrupt me.
I mean...
Would it be dumb to confess that I'm sitting up in a very tight Speedo right now and I have my entire body oiled and I'm wearing nothing else?
That depends.
No, not depends. It's a Speedo.
Is there any way that you can send me photos of that, which I can then distribute to our Patreon backers?
Yeah, of course.
Because I think they'd want to see it. I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, do it.
I bet on it.
The screenplay was a collaboration between Dario Argento, who JD already talked him up, and we've talked him up in previous episodes. But he's the big daddy of Italian horror.
Big daddy.
And everyone loves him.
That is true. I personally do love him.
And the director, Lamberto Bava, who JD also talked up, so I'm not going to, because I don't want to waste your time.
Excellent.
It sounds like maybe Kane might talk about some of the actors.
Well, I got a cinematographer I can talk about.
Oh yeah, the cinematographer.
Yeah, why don't you tell us about the cinematographer?
Yeah, let's just do that. What the fuck? This is a weird episode.
Dude, everything's weird. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Such is life.
Yep. Gian Lorenzo Battaglia is an Italian filmmaker who got his start in 1970 as an assistant camera operator working on Maniacs on Wheels, which is apparently an Italian film about race car drivers.
Nice.
Could be good, probably isn't. He became incredibly prolific in the Italian film scene. He has 55 credits to his name between 1970 and 2011 when he retired. Many of which are horror, because a lot of these old school Italian filmmakers at least dabble in horror movies.
Hell yeah.
Including his work on the 80s Italian horror anthology show, Brevido Giallo, which again, apparently Italy has just, at least in the 70s and 80s, it seems like they had a lot more horror content on television than was going on over here.
Absolutely.
He also worked on Formula for Murder, Demons and Demons 2, something called Hatchet for the Honeymoon, which I'm not familiar with, but sounds wild.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
Hatchet for the Honeymoon does not sound like a pleasant thing to watch.
No.
Mm-mm.
And the 90s horror film Metamorphosis, which I remember being kind of good.
Metamorphosis.
He also worked on, this was to me, as an American movie fan, the most recognizable thing on his filmography. He worked on the 1980 Popeye film with Robin Williams and Shelley Duvall.
Oh, awesome.
He did cinematography for that, and that was a very good movie. All right, that's all I have to say. I'm going to go.
Nope, you can't go. You have to stay here and wait till we finish our stuff.
Kane, do not let that leash go.
How did you know about that?
I know about your pleasures.
Joe, I tell him everything, okay?
Yeah, we're a band of brothers here. We share secrets.
Pleasure or pain?
Pleasure or pain?
And every time he picks pain.
It's true.
That's all right.
A quick fun Dario Argento fact that I forgot to throw in. JD was talking about some video game work that he's done. He was also a contributor and a voice actor in the horror game Dead Space.
Oh, nice.
Which is pretty cool. Yeah, that's all.
All right. So we're going to talk about the actors. Honestly, there's not a ton about people.
Yeah. I mean, nobody was... I mean, and some of it might have been because the English dub kind of poisoned the well. But I didn't feel like anybody was bringing their A game to the acting of this film.
They're a C- game.
Well, I mean, let's just put it all out there. Nobody watches, aside from like a few gems, nobody watches 80s Italian horror to follow the plot.
Sure. Because this movie didn't have
I mean...
Well, I'm biased to one of the actors of this film because I have a personal connection to them, and I'm going to tell that story later.
Yeah, but that's not now. Right now, we're talking about the fact that the acting didn't matter.
No.
It didn't matter. What we came here for, we got it. We got it by the bucket loads. All right? We came here for blood,
prosthetic effects,
slime, ooze,
goo,
foam, goo,
chunks,
bladders.
I mean... All I'm saying is that there's not a lot going on here.
Pus, guts, lime green substances.
Yeah. So what we're going to talk about first is we're going to talk about my favorite character in the film, and that was Tony the Pimp.
Mm-hmm.
And he was no nonsense, like from the get-go.
He was the foremost in whooping ass.
He was, but obviously we don't respect pimps.
Right.
In the really real world, fuck pimps. They're just traffickers.
Yep.
All right. We don't like pimps. But the character, the fictional character of Tony the Pimp was real good. It was real fun.
Yeah. Because he bought the living some time, you know?
He bought the living some time, but he also took no bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The random giving of the knife to the guy,
Mm-hmm.
like, here, cut this rope. And then he gets attacked, and he's like, motherfucker, give me the knife back.
Definitely the star of the movie.
Definitely the star of the movie. That actor's name is Bobby Rhodes. He was born in 1947 in Livorno, Italy. That's it. There's nothing else attached to that information.
So he's still alive?
Yeah, he's 73.
His pimp hand is strong?
I don't, JD, you do know that this was a movie, right?
Come on, man.
Joe, did we
this
tell
really
him?
happened? No, this is...
Yeah, fictional characters, JD. Fictional characters.
Yeah, this is all fake, buddy.
Oh, shit. Oh, I thought this was the
No,
pimp's
okay.
Biography.
No. Demon zombies aren't real.
Yeah,
What?
none of that's real. Yeah.
No,
This is
wait,
not a
what?
documentary film.
What? No,
All right. We're not.
But-
No. Just
this is like when my sister told me Santa wasn't real, and
you're gonna have to process this on your own, buddy. We got a job to do.
neither is the Easter Bunny.
We got a job to do. You're gonna need to process this on your own.
Man, fuck you guys.
Anyhow, there's not a lot of stuff out there about him, but he has been in several deliciously fantastic horror movies. The first one, it's called Screamers, which is aquatic creatures threaten the existence of a mystery island.
That sounds
Fuck
fun.
yes. I want to watch this
Nice.
movie.
Yes.
Then we've got Demons and Demons 2.
Okay.
And then this one kind of surprised me. I was actually kind of surprised about this because Bobby Rhodes isn't a great actor.
All right, send it.
All right. Leviathan, 1989.
Word?
Yeah, he was in that.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with that film.
Peter Weller, Daniel Stern. I mean, it was 89. You were like 4 years old.
Yeah.
He was also in a movie called The Great Alligator.
That sounds real dumb.
It seems like that guy's in a lot of very aquatic films.
Well, the Great Alligator is an island god who turns himself into a giant alligator and stalks victims.
Okay. Seems like a weird thing for an island god to do.
Yeah.
All right, I retract my statement. That sounds awesome.
Right? It does. It sounds really good.
Yeah, especially with that actor in it.
Yeah, I want to watch The Great Alligator. I want to watch this guy's entire filmography. My hope, and I know this probably isn't the case. It's not necessarily the case, but my hope is that he's just the same character in every movie. Like he pulls a Kevin Costner.
Or like a Johnny Depp.
He's just the exact... Well, no, Johnny Depp at least has some range. But Kevin Costner is the same goddamn person in every movie he's ever been
What's the
in.
difference between Hunter S. Thompson and Captain Jack Sparrow?
What?
What are you talking about?
Johnny
Why
Depp.
are we having this discussion?
Why are we talking about Johnny? What's
The lack of range in the character that he would play. He's just the same fucking guy in every movie with a different costume on.
All right. Well, I mean,
I don't
what about
know if I
his
agree
role
with that.
in Nightmare on Elm Street? What about his role
Oh,
in
he was
21
a
Jump Street?
kid.
What
All right.
about his role in Rum Diaries? What about his role in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? I'm sorry, dude, but that
Yeah, like I don't enjoy many films that Johnny Depp is in.
I'm not a Johnny Depp fan at all.
Honestly, I don't like defending him, but he definitely he has a range. I have to give him that much.
yes, he has a fairly wide range.
Yeah.
Not like Kevin Costner, who is the same character
Yeah.
in every movie unless he's a villain.
Or even Keanu Reeves, who I genuinely love,
Mhm.
has a pretty limited.
He's basically the same character in every movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
But I like to think that No, we're not talking about this. Let's move on.
Yeah, I don't even know what was like. I kind of spaced out for a minute. I was like looking at my notes, and then suddenly this conversation was happening.
My mom has a crush on Kevin Costner. Settle down, Mom. I know you're going to listen to this, and just telling you,
Hi,
settle down.
JD's
All right.
mom, if you're listening.
Hi,
to
JD's
this.
mom.
Hi, Mom. Love you.
Just so you know, I don't like Kevin Costner when he's a good guy, but he's actually pretty decent as the bad guy in movies.
I have no strong feelings about Kevin Costner.
When was Kevin Costner a bad guy in a movie? I'm still trying
3,000 Miles to Las Vegas, Mr. Black, and there was one other one I can't remember. But
You've
anytime
seen a lot of Kevin Costner movies,
Yeah,
Kane.
I don't know what the fuck any of those
I've
movies
seen
are.
a lot of movies, guys. I don't know if we've discussed this, but
I mean, I've seen a lot of movies too, but I haven't seen the number of Kevin Costner films that you apparently have. Didn't know that you were such a Kevin Costner fanboy.
that's fine. Let's move on. I'm just gonna crank through here. All right, so Natasha
Crank.
Hovey, Urbano Berberini, they were, I guess, the hero and heroine. Natasha Hovey was born August 14th,
Heroin.
1967, and is an Lebanese, Italian, French former film and television actress and radio hostess. She actually dipped out in the 90s. Like in 1998, she was like, fuck you guys, I'm leaving. Moved to Paris and just retired from acting.
Oh, I thought that was like a very uncouth way of speaking of her suicide.
JD, what the fuck is up with you tonight?
Wait, what did I say? This is a horror podcast. We could say such things.
I'm not saying you can't. I was more concerned that you thought it was like funny.
Oh God, no.
Okay.
Let's keep talking about those actors, Kane.
Yeah. So Hovey, she was really only in Demons. It was not a very great performance. Again, that's not why I was at this party, guys.
Sure.
I wasn't here to watch her act her way out of a wet paper bag.
Yeah, nobody was bringing it acting wise in
To
this movie.
watch people get covered in gore and goo. And that's what we got. That's what
Mhm.
this movie is. Urbano, I actually was surprised that he survived this. He played George. And I'll be honest, when he got cut during the the motorcycle katana scene,
which ruled.
it did rule.
I went
It
back
really
and watched
did.
it during the break. It was super good.
It was super
And the
good.
metal playing in the background
Yeah,
was
yeah, dude.
fucking sweet.
Yeah, this movie was just full of cock rock. I'll get to that in a minute. And then the only other actor that I'm really going to talk about is Fiore Argento. She's born in 1970 Rome. Her dad, if you didn't already know by the last name, is Dario Argento. There's not a lot of shit out there about her.
I'm sorry, but you're going to have to say a few words about Giancarlo Giancarlo because she was the 1st person to turn into a demon.
Hey, calm down.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I'm just clearing the air that I'm not talking about a lot of people.
Okay.
But she was in Phenomena and Demons.
Phenomena. Do.
Phenomena.
Da, da,
and
da,
then
da, da.
Jaretta Giancarlo.
Hell yeah.
She is the person that puts the mask on in the beginning of the film, gets
Mhm.
her face cut.
And she ruled.
Well, I mean, she was awesome as Rosemary. She was. Again, her makeup and prosthetics were beautiful. It was so good. It was so
Incredible.
fun to watch.
And
Yeah.
that scream, man, she is a scream queen for horror films, for sure. That was
Absolutely. But
incredible.
It's not like it was great acting. All right. That's not what we're here for. All right.
well, it's a horror film, so, you know.
Right. She actually did a decent amount of horror.
Oh, yeah.
She did Bloody Christmas. She did Rat's Night of Terror. She did Murder Rock, Demons. Honestly, her makeup effects were probably some of the best in the film.
Mhm.
It was
Absolutely.
a toss up between her and the blind guy, which I don't have anything on. I couldn't find who the fuck that guy was. Now, some of this honestly is because of the fact that we're reviewing an Italian film
True.
From the 80s.
from the 80s, and some of this information just isn't there.
There's a language barrier, but that dude's gooey eye sockets speak for themselves. Listeners,
They
just
do.
zoom in on those gooey eye sockets, watch the fingers kind of wiggle in and out, and just enjoy yourself. You heard it here first.
And the Blu-ray transfer of this movie was very good, so you probably
It was.
could get a pretty good zoom in on those.
All right, so last but not least, we got Michel Soavi. I probably butchered that name, but that's okay. He was born July 3rd, 1957 in Milan, Italy. He's actually worked alongside Dario Argento and Lucio Fulci multiple times. He was in Lucio Fulci's City of the Living Dead, and he actually served as an assistant director to Aristide Massachesi, is what was. I don't know what that is in Italian, or if I said it right.
Sounded cool.
He was known professionally as Joe D'Amato.
Who we've mentioned.
Sounds
Yeah.
like a baseball player's name.
He's a director, producer, cinematographer, and screenwriter, but he was best known for his horror and erotic movies and adult films. But Michel Soavi did a lot of work with that guy.
Okay.
Very cool.
He was involved in Dario Argento's World of Horror. He was in Stage Fright, The Church, which apparently, I didn't realize this, but apparently The Church is AKA Demons 3. We discussed this in season 1, that in Italy, you don't actually have to have the rights to the first 2 films to just name your fucking film Part 3.
That's amazing.
And then this one, which I think JD would be super excited about, Cemetery Man.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to talk about that for the special effects.
Mhm.
Della Morte, Delamore.
Yeah,
Yep.
we've talked about doing Cemetery Man on the show before.
We going to make it happen?
But yeah, so that's stuff that he's done, as a director. And then as an actor, he's done like, Jesus Christ. It's a long list. We'll just go with City of the Living Dead, Day of the fucking Cobra, The New York Ripper,
Hell yeah.
and then Demons, and then The Black Cat.
Very, very good. Very good.
And that's honestly all I'm really going to say about the actors in this film. There's not a lot going on.
No.
I couldn't even find exactly who was the other sex worker that was with Tony the Pimp. I couldn't find any information on that person.
Well, I feel like we got it covered pretty solid.
All right, so we'll move on to the score, because this is where a lot of their budget went. A lot of that $1 million went into this, I'm assuming.
Was it Tangerine Dream again?
No.
Oh.
There's 3 pieces of music that were written by Claudio Simonetti. Claudio Simonetti was born February 19th, 1952, and he's an Italian musician and film composer.
Do you think Claudio drove a Firebird and wore a bandana?
Hold on, let me finish. He is the keyboardist of the progressive rock band Goblin.
Hell yeah.
Simonetti has specialized in the scores for Italian and American horror films since the 70s. We went on and on after we did Suspiria,
Mhm.
but he's done Deep Red, Suspiria, Dawn of the Dead, Tenebrae, Phenomena, Demons, Opera. He and Goblin were basically synonymous with 80s, late 70s and 80s Italian horror.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so for this movie, he only had 3 pieces that he was credited. And they're each Demon, Killing, and Out of Time. Those are the 3 tracks that he did. Everything else that's in this score is 80s cock rock.
Mhm.
Billy Idol, except Motley Crue, Rick Springfield. How the fuck do you toss Rick Springfield into a horror movie?
You just do
Demons,
it.
folks.
You just do it,
Watch
yeah.
Demons. Just watch Demons. You'll get to experience it.
Close your eyes and throw it in there.
We got Pretty Maids, Go West, The Adventures, and Saxon. That is the entirety of the score. That's what we listened to tonight when we watched that movie.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a time.
It was definitely a time. Honestly, JD, tell us about the special effects, because that's honestly what we were here for.
Bet your sweet ass I will. I'm going to talk about two people in particular who are some pretty heavy hitters in the realm of Italian horror and giallo films. The first person I'm going to mention is named Rosario Prestipino. Born December 18th, 1950 in Naples, Italy. Sadly, Rosario is no longer with us, passing away May 13th of 2008 at the age 57. His son, Diego, continued in his father's footsteps as a makeup and special effects artist. That was Rosario's lot. He was a very well-known makeup artist, and his son, Diego, he did some like really big-time stuff. One of the films that he worked on was Avengers Age of Ultron. So yeah, back to the father, Rosario Prestipino. Rosario is best known for working on Opera, directed by Dario Argento, and that was released in 1987. Then he worked on, before that, he worked on City of the Living Dead, 1980. And before that, he worked on Zombie, 1979. Then Zombie Holocaust, back in 80. Burial Ground, The Nights of Terror in 81. The Black Cat, also in 81. The New York Ripper in 82. There's a big-time overlap here between a lot of the actors that you named and the makeup artists here. I feel like they all sort of had experience working together. On the New York Ripper in 1982, he was a second unit assistant, basically like an assistant makeup artist. Let's see what else. He worked on Satan's Baby Doll in 1982. Demons and Demons 2.
Satan's Baby Doll?
Yeah, Satan's Baby Doll.
Oh.
That has to be exploitation-y as fuck.
Yeah, that could be
I'm looking
very
it up right
exploity. That could be straight up uncomfortable.
It has a Wikipedia page. That never happens.
Yeah.
We've talked
Right?
about this before.
Oh, have we?
It's basically porn.
Sure it is.
No, it really is. It's basically
I believe you.
porn.
That was my response. I'm just not
I thought
surprised.
I thought you
No.
were saying sure it is. Like, yeah,
No, that's
sure
not
it is, buddy.
facetious. That's
Okay.
that's an understanding.
But yeah, let you keep going with Satan's Baby Doll. I think the reason that we didn't discuss it more last time, I think I only mentioned it by its Italian name,
Mhm.
and then maybe said Satan's Baby Doll in passing. But we just all right. I'm sorry. Continue.
Well, no,
JD.
you're good. I just went straight for the translation. So yeah, Demons 2 came out in 1986. Dial Help in 1988. The Church in 89. The Sect in 1991. That's an interesting film, and there's a little bit more about that along with the next person I'm going to talk about as far as the special effects credits are. Rosario also worked on Dark Friday in 1993. There were some other films in there, but I'm just speaking on his horror titles.
Which is good
Yeah, absolutely.
because that's what we're here for.
We are indeed. So as far as the special effects / horror makeup credits go, we also have, and now this is our heavy hitter here, Sergio Stivalletti, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. He was born in Rome, Italy, 1957, considered one of the most famous and legendary horror makeup effects artists in all of Europe, active well over 20 years. Stivalletti? I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, has collaborated with some of the greats, Argento, Sovi, Bava, Salvatores.
Sounds good to me.
Anyway, Stivalletti began his journey with the film Murder Syndrome in 1981. Demons was his second film in 1985, then Demons 2 in 86, Spectres in 1987, Opera, also in 87, The Mask of Satan in 1990, The Sect, which it's kind of like a film about a satanic cult and like a bunch of shit they were up to. And Stivalletti worked as, he was like one of the animatronics creators and operators on that project, which is really interesting. He was also involved with the film Cemetery Man, as we'd mentioned. That came out in 1994.
We'll have to watch that next season.
I concur. He was also involved with The Wax Mask in 1997, The Last House in the Woods in 2006, Ghost Son in 2007. No relation to Ghost Father or daughter. Kane.
Ghost Dad.
Yeah, Ghost Dad.
I'm stupid.
A little bit.
Yeah, but you're pretty.
But it's okay. We love you all the same. Dracula 3D in 2012. I didn't think that they made any 3D movies that recently. That just seems like a ridiculous thing.
Yeah, it was briefly trying to make a comeback 3D.
Yeah. It just feels weird. It doesn't land well on me. The last film that he directed with any sort of relationship to horror was Crucified in 2019. And that's about as far as I go in terms of these two people. Their special effects, though, were they used a pretty great range of prosthetic effects, including some bladder effects. I remember, that was sort of Dick Smith was the brainchild of the bladder effect.
Dick Smith?
That's right. The biggest dick. I was just going to kind of gush a little bit over the special effects here.
Gush is a good word, yeah.
That's why I used it. There was a lot of gushing in this film from many orifices and created wounds, new orifices, just cavernous openings on the human body. New places that juices and substances that are very viscous could flow from. This movie was heavy duty with pussy substances, goo, and like all sorts of...
Let's not forget about the goopy puppet that climbed out of a lady's back.
Which was pretty good.
Yeah, and it really resembled the mask that cut Gioretta Giancarlo's face in the beginning of the film. I kind of feel like... that mask set the stage. Because the one thing we didn't talk about was I like during the viewing of the film that Joe mentioned how the quality of the film was identical to the showing of the movie within the film. It was just kind of like all of it was a hot mess.
Yeah, like I feel like if you looked away for a second, like if you got a bite of your popcorn or like you turned away from the screen, it was just suddenly there's this new thing happening and it just looks like the movie, and it was a weird choice to handle it that way.
Right, like you could easily lose what was what.
Yeah. Yeah, I was confused about a lot of this film.
Yeah, none of that made sense.
There were some great props, some great set design.
So now, originally, they wanted to just use a Lucio Fulci film as the movie just playing in the background. And it wasn't going to play that much of a role.
Right.
And then Dario Argento was like, no, we're not doing that. No.
So they made just like a tangentially related fake movie inside of the movie.
Yep.
Which actually made the movie more confusing.
Yep.
Because then as an audience member, you're like, well, is the movie causing this curse to happen? Or did the curse already exist? And like, what was the narrative? And the script could not be bothered to explain any of it.
No, I mean, dude, why the fuck was there a real motorcycle and katana just sitting in a movie theater?
That actually made sense to me. That seemed like something that a film premiere would have. Like, here's a thing from the movie that we're premiering.
Well, the mask itself resembled a Japanese samurai warrior's mask.
Or just an Oni mask.
Okay, there's that. That's probably the proper name for it. But so I was just thinking that, that could be why the katana was there as well.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, there was some kind of maybe Japan connection. I guess now that you've said that, then like, okay, I can kind of see. But how, why, huh?
Yeah, not sure why. That's not what I was there for.
Yeah. It got confusing.
Yeah.
But as far as the special effects go, I felt like the wounds were phenomenal, and the gentleman with the gooey eye sockets, again, like...
It was real good.
I was feeling that. The fingers kind of...
And I like how kind of, like, he was nearing hysteria, but was mostly calm and collected. I think it's because he was blind. And so... the demon carving out his eye sockets didn't matter.
Didn't bother him. And like, I almost felt like the beginning of the movie was implying that he had some kind of psychic awareness.
Yeah, he was not comfortable the whole film.
But again, it was just another thing that the movie brought up and then did nothing with.
But it also seems pretty heartless and kind of mean to bring your blind dad
to a movie.
To a goddamn movie.
Yeah, that's not okay.
Were there no symphonies?
Right.
Even theater.
Right. Or at least a better movie.
It was a free movie. That's why she brought it, because it was a free fucking movie. That's what this movie's really about. This movie is about how shitty that daughter was.
Free movies can be bad movies. I feel like we've shifted from the special effects to our impressions of the film. So I say we just keep rolling.
Oh, yeah, we did. Did you have anything else about the special effects? Any info you wanted to toss out there?
Not really. I mean, there's not a lot of info in the world on specific substances used.
Yeah.
But other than that,
Gooey
I
eye
mean,
sockets. That's a
lots
thing.
of latex, lots of bladder effects, lots of, yeah.
Well, we're crossing over we're past an hour now.
John Edwards.
So, no, fuck that guy. Joe, tell me about your personal experience with the movie.
Yeah, I had never seen this movie before tonight. I'll never see it again after tonight.
I mean, you say that.
It was a wild, moist, seemingly based on both the content and just the energy of the film, heavily inspired by cocaine.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
We talked it to death, and honestly, like, it doesn't really bear any more analysis than we've already given it. But just a weird, disconnected story where things happen and then other things happen, and you're not really sure why any of it's happening. It just is. But it's fun watching gooey monsters, just murder people that you have no relationship to.
It was a very physical film. Very physical.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, like that's as much conversation as I ever want to have about this movie.
Fair enough.
Which is funny because we're watching part 2 next week.
We're watching part 2, and it's going to be wild.
Sure the hell are.
All right, JD, tell us about your personal experience with the movie.
You got it. I love this movie. I'm quite a fan. I enjoyed many aspects of the special effects. The prosthetics I felt were quite phenomenal, and all the substances we have mentioned. The score, everything was just kind of like, it just really reeked of the mid-'80s in the best way possible. I saw this movie probably in the early 90s for the first time and became quite a fan at that point. I have a fun little side story about the movie. So I'm known to frequent the city of New Orleans, and on one of my trips, I had the pleasure of, I'd rented an Airbnb, and it just so happened that the host was one of the stars of the film. It was Gioretta Giancarlo, and I was pretty blown away that it was her place, and through Airbnb, I had just rented the room, and the crazy thing was I didn't really recognize her at first, and then I get in there, and there's like all this like movie memorabilia, and then I start to like, it hits me, I'm just like, oh my God, and I'm like freaking out for a second, and then I talked to her about, the being in the film just a little bit, and talk about awesome people. Like, she was just so cool and warm about like just everything, and very hospitable, and I had a great time staying there. And she was super knowledgeable about New Orleans, and it was totally awesome. But I think she was like about to head to some like horror convention to do some autographs and, kind of like meet and greet people and all of that. So yeah, it was like a cool little thing that I didn't expect to have happen. And I even got an autographed copy of the film.
Oh, that's cool.
Because of that experience.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, so pretty amazing, fun stuff. That's about it for me. I'm a fan, and that's my connection. So I am very, I don't know. I'm babbling now. But anyway, if Kane would like
Babylon
to share...
5.
I am Babylon 5. That is true.
Yeah, I saw this movie probably also in the 90s. I was fairly young when I watched it. Definitely blown away by the special effects. I've always been a fan of Tony the Pimp. Not pimps. I don't like pimps. Just this specific fictional character. I need to clarify that. Sex work is work, and there shouldn't be somebody profiting from your work.
Hell yeah.
But that's a whole other discussion that we don't need to have at the end of our horror podcast.
Yeah, usually I'm the one sneaking in weird leftist rants into the show.
So here's the thing, right? So much happens in this movie, and I don't know why.
Yeah. It's a good summary.
Nobody knows why.
No.
They do leave a good bit to the imagination in this.
There is cocaine
Mm-hmm.
in a Coke can.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's wild to me that this movie was originally like, it was written as a story, like there was an outline made, and then Dario Argento collaborated with another writer to create the script that became this movie.
I'm assuming they had Coca-Cola cans filled with cocaine.
I can only assume. Because, like, how did it take a 3-person collaboration to construct what we saw on the screen for 90 minutes?
Or maybe that's the result of a 3-person collaboration. That's what we just saw.
Maybe.
3 people telling completely different stories.
I could see that, yeah.
You know, like one guy wanted to tell a story of some ne'er-do-well punkers, you know, living their lives.
Mhm.
And then one guy wanted to tell a story about a haunted movie theater. And then another dude, the guy that was actually bankrolling everything, was like, yes, I like both of those ideas, but demons, they're like zombies or vampires, but they're demons.
Mhm.
Mask, Nostradamus, let's make this shit work. And then they stuck it together.
Yeah.
And I don't care. I love watching
It was a wild ride.
this movie.
And again, you know, and this is my, you know, I comment one way or another about this on a lot of the material that we talk about. To the credit of this movie, at any given moment, shit was always happening on the screen. You were never bored.
No. I mean, some of what was happening was just, you were just, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Like,
some of it was
why?
confusing. Some of it was upsetting, but there was always something to look at.
It was almost action horror.
Maybe.
Think about it. Motorcycles, katanas, crazy rock music. I mean, it's just like...
I mean, it just felt like an 80s Italian horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like this one was up to something else.
It was up to
I
something.
mean, it was up its nose with a whole bunch of coke.
That's a fact.
Yeah. This movie, much like Stephen King's Middle Period, was co-authored by cocaine.
Yeah.
Cocaine, yes, absolutely. Cocaine and cigarettes.
Yep.
That's what made demons. You know what? I think that's all I have to say
Yeah.
about it.
I think we've, covered
Anybody
it.
have anything else to say?
Watch Demons.
Do it.
If you watch Demons, let us know what you think.
Yeah, it's a time.
Watch it, but don't expect to be told a story. Expect a movie where shit happens and it's bananas and it's confusing, but you're gonna have a good time.
It is a good time. But let us know what you think. You
Yeah.
can get in touch with us by heading to wegiveyoubrainworms.com. And honestly, Joe, do you want to give a very special message about our YouTube page?
Oh yeah, don't forget to go to the Brainworms Presents YouTube channel and subscribe to that channel, like our videos, and click the bell to get alerted to our content.
So to clarify before we sign off for the night, this is a passion project of Joe's. He has a very simple life, a very sad life. And
mostly I just sit in this dark room and work on podcasts.
and wait for the next time he gets to interact with us. Right?
Yeah.
That's all he does.
Well, what about his
And
work in
every
adult
time-
films?
Hold on. Every time you click that bell, it notifies him.
Yeah.
And
I get
for
alerts.
just a moment,
Mhm.
the clouds dissipate.
Yeah, I get just a tiny little endorphin rush.
The salt turns to sugar.
And then just for a second I smile.
Yeah.
And then
It's
I
ever so
return
brief.
to the
Yeah,
darkness.
it's ever so brief.
So like if a lot of you subscribe, then that'll just be sustained joy that I'll be experiencing.
The pickles turn back into cucumbers.
Make the pickles turn back. What? Just all right. We're gonna call it, guys.
Yeah, that's enough.
Go to wegiveyoubrainworms.com.
God damn
Push
it.
the yell at us button.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think about this random bullshit that we do. Much love to you.
Yeah.
Bye, love you.
And we will see you next week.
Bye everybody.
Zoom in on those gooey eye sockets, watch the fingers kind of wiggle in and out, and just enjoy yourself.